Yo, what's up? What's up? How you doing, bro?
What's going on, man? Welcome
Hey.
to the show, people. Sorry we running a little late. But we here. We here. We apologize. What's going on, man? I see you got that Bulls jersey on, man. Come on, you better let the people know what time it is, man.
Oh, it's just something I pulled out for those that follow basketball as well as football. Bulls looking good starting this season. Got my Artis Gilmore jersey on. I think they played the Lakers recently and made them look kind of bad. So if there's some Laker fans out there, I know there's one. You know.
Oh, definitely one. It's definitely one out there.
Oh well.
Yeah,
Oh well.
he's not gonna say too much, but we talked about that already. But
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
man. How was your fantasy week, man?
I've had better weeks. Let's say it this way. It wasn't too bad though. Actually, you know what? I running so far behind it. I don't even know what my record was. I think I ended up being like 4-4 though in my leagues. I know I lost in one of my leagues where I was the number one team, but I'm still number one. Uh, Another league has been going downhill quickly. I'm on a horrible losing streak. I started off well, and then it's gotten bad. But overall, not bad. About mediocre. Like I said, 4-4. I think was the record. What about you?
I went 3-3 this week. I bounced back in one league and I lost, but I will say this: I went 3-3. I bounced back in a couple leagues, but I did. My boys won a big game Monday night,
Yeah.
so I am
What you
happy
think
about
about
that.
that one? Because
Uh,
this was the first week that neither one of us picked our own favorite teams to win. I went against the Raiders, which obviously was the right call.
Woo,
Uh,
go Chiefs! Yay!
oh
no
God,
comment there. And then you went against the 49ers, but they looked remarkably good.
yeah, we look good because we ran
Yeah.
the ball 42 times. I mean, he got smart and
Right.
decided to take the ball out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hand. Garoppolo threw the ball two times in the first quarter.
Yeah, he had like 8 passes,
Eight,
like
he
late in the game, like after
yeah,
halftime or even third quarter. I can't remember exactly when,
yeah,
but
he was 8 for 8 for like 89 yards and a
yeah,
touchdown at the end of the first half, which is, I mean, that's the way to go. But my feelings about that, if he can do that, Trey Lance can hand the ball off 35 times or whatever. So
yeah,
I guess but if win is a win, I'll take it. We always beat the Rams though, which I should have
yeah.
betted with my boys,
And
but
I didn't even consider that because the track record against the Rams
oh my
is
God,
pretty
it's
good
just
for y'all. So I was
we
like, yeah,
5-0 in the last 2 years, I think. So
uh,
it's been kind of crazy. They just can't beat us. We find ways to beat them, and we know how to beat them. So
after
hey,
all the money they spent. Welcome Orlando Lewis to the show. Uh, Glad you could join us tonight. Them Colts
well,
is looking pretty good
yes,
as
they are. Them
well.
Colts is looking real good. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, they got a tough one coming up this week though, so we'll see. We'll
Yeah, yeah,
talk
yeah.
some
It's
of
some
that
good
stuff.
games this week, man. It's definitely some good games this week. So
Yeah,
we definitely it's just gonna we're gonna get it cracking though, man. So we're gonna get right to it. Today, as we always do, we're gonna start with impact players. And we're gonna start with the quarterbacks, obviously. And it's the return of Patrick Mahomes.
yeah,
Uh 35 of 50 for 65 touchdowns. I guess that's the Mahomes we've been kind of hoping for the whole year that we haven't been getting, but he finally found a way to beat Mahomes. So,
hey, as Travis Kelsey would say, I think he got his swagger back.
woo! Well, we gonna see. We will hope so. They got a game this week against Dallas, who they have a really pretty good defense. So
Yeah,
we'll see. I think that's gonna be a good game, though. I think that's
oh,
gonna be one of the
that
top
should
games
be a
this week.
phenomenal game this week.
Yeah. So if you got anybody, just a sneak peek. If you got anybody from Kansas City or Dallas, you play them this week. So, um, next one is Josh Allen, 21 and 28, 366, 2 touchdowns. Another good game from Josh Allen. Dak Prescott. It wasn't a lot of guys that threw for 300 yards this week. It was only a couple. Dak had 24, 31, 296 and a touchdown. Trevor Siemian in a losing cause, 19 for 34, 298, 2 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, 25 of 37, 294, 2 touchdowns.
Hey, I'm going to jump back on Trevor Siemian again because I mentioned I was having a losing streak in one league, but I'm on a winning streak in another, and this is a super flex league, and I am starting Trevor Siemian, and it's working out so far. I don't know how long this is going to go, but desperate times, desperate measures. But hey, Trevor Siemian getting it done. So
he getting it done. I mean,
getting it done enough. He's still not looking good. I mean, he's Trevor Siemian, but it's
he's keeping Taysom Hill out the game. So I guess that's saying something.
Which is crazy. Let's give some love to Mac Jones again because hey, this was the starting quarterback that nobody really wanted going into the draft. Everybody was on Trevor Lawrence, for obvious reasons. People were excited about Justin Fields being available. The Trey Lance storm was there. But a lot of folks, especially in San Francisco, nobody personally, but a lot of folks was like, please no Mac Jones. Let's get Trevor Lance. And that's not just you. That was a lot. That was a lot of the opinions. People did not have a lot of faith in Mac Jones. He's looking like he's the best thing going. 3 touchdowns this past week.
I mean, it was. If you look at the game, he did play well. I'm not gonna take nothing away from him.
Looking nice.
He's being a really, really good game manager. And like I said before, they're putting him in a really good spot. He went to a good team where he can manage the game, and the defense is really good. The defense put up half the points. So, I mean, he's in a good spot. I think all of them, except a couple, landed in good spots where they can be successful. And he just landed in New England where they're gonna cater to his skill set. So
the Patriots made Matt Castle look good, and for those that are fans of the Kansas City Chiefs, they know Matt Castle was terrible.
Yep,
terrible. But it's good. Welcome, Nita, to the show. Yep, only got 4 weeks, so get your football fixes in because it's not that much of it left. This year seems to have been going by.
Mac Jones, he definitely did his thing, so I'm not gonna take nothing away from him. So.
Also doing his thing, not really in the box score, but Cam Newton, not a lot of passes, only 3 completions on 4 attempts, but he got 2 touchdowns and messing up my man PJ Walker, who I needed to start in one of my leagues. I knew that wasn't gonna go well, but I'm like, can you let PJ throw 1 touchdown? But it's what it is.
Look, I told you, man. We can talk off screen, off TV, off this.
I ain't talking
podcast.
to you. You trying to get me? On
no, I'm
terrible
not.
Trades, Nita. No. Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is coming along, but I ain't gonna say Mac Jones is the one, but Mac Jones is the one that's better than people thought he was gonna be. So
honestly, I think in the long run, I think Fields, Trey, Mac. Even Trevor Lawrence, I think those 4 are going to be really, really good. Zach Wilson and I've been high on Zach Wilson, but I don't think it's him. I think it's more of the team, and they have to get better because they don't have any talent right now. So,
speaking of the Jets and their quarterback situation, I hope we have our Jets fan. Did you read that they're starting Joe Flacco this week?
Yeah, I know because they're saying that Zach Wilson is not fully
healthy. Zach Wilson's not
so.
healthy, right? And Mike White did what, like 4 interceptions, 3 or 4 interceptions last week.
Yeah,
and so it's like when you're starting Joe Flacco, you've reached the bottom of the barrel.
Well, they saying because they're going against that tough Miami defense that they want to kind of have a veteran out there. So I get it. I mean, I understand it. So the Mike White train was good, but it ain't no good.
Hey, he made somebody a whole lot of money that 1 week. So
you ain't lying about that. So
all right, hit some running backs.
Jump into this running backs. We got DeAndre Swift. Gonna be tough sledding this week for him. Jonathan Taylor, 21 for 116, a touchdown. Najee Harris, the running back, had 26 carries, 105 yards.
I'm going to lose that bold prediction on Najee because he is picking it up big time. So it's all good.
It's okay, man. It's all right. Ramondre Stevenson had 20 carries, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I didn't see that coming, but definitely big.
Hey, someone said, "Hey, Ramondre Stevenson going to be big." We talked about it.
Christian McCaffrey, 13, 195. But I also want to throw in the 10 receptions and 66 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Christian McCaffrey is fully back.
He's back.
I think he's back. Is he the number one running back going into next season?
Not for me. And not at all.
That's the question. Dalvin Cook, 24 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown. That's all I got for the running backs.
You go through running backs and not mention A.J. Dillon?
I mean, A.J. Dillon, he did do work. I mean, but I got to switch it up sometimes. I got to show love to everybody. I can't just do,
Hey,
come on now.
How many weeks have we given love to A.J. Dillon this year?
I mean, he came in and did some work, but these guys did work, though.
Hey, well, I'm going to ring the bell for A.J. Dillon. If people out there have him, I hope you started him. 66 yards rushing, another 62 receiving, 2 touchdowns. And Aaron Jones is going to miss fortunately, he's only going to miss about maybe 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But in that time, we talked about A.J. Dillon a lot of times as has no real value until Aaron Jones gets hurt. And hey, Aaron Jones is hurt. He was balling out. A.J. Dillon's looking nice. They're going to have a nice 1-2 punch with those running backs. For the years to come. So, hey, welcome Justin to the show. Justin.
Justin, you're showing your age, buddy. You really are.
Justin.
We had this conversation, Justin. I really don't want to school you because you're my guy. You're my guy for real. But we really can go hard on this basketball if you really want us to go hard.
I tell you like this: get your LBJ jersey. But the question is, which one will you get? Cavs jersey number 1, Cavs jersey number 2, Miami Heat jersey, Lakers jersey. Who knows where it'll be next year? The Suns.
Come on now. Do you really want to go there? Do you really
Minnesota
want to have this conversation with us?
I don't know. He's gonna go play. He wants to be a linebacker for the Browns or the Cowboys. LBJ all over the world, and still less rings than Michael Jordan. So get out of here, man. But love you, Justin.
We do, Justin. But I'm telling you, you do not want to have this conversation. We had it offline, but you do not want to have this online because I will bury you online, bro. I promise you. Because this guy has lost 6 times.
Yeah,
not 6. Just remember that. You don't want losing records. You want winning records. So we're gonna keep that in mind. But we're gonna
wide receivers.
Jump into some wide receivers. Stephon Diggs, 8 receptions, 162 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson had a good week, 9 for 143. Cooper Kupp, 11 for 122 in a losing cause. Gabriel Davis, 3 receptions, 105. Marcus Johnson, 5 receptions, 100 yards, and 0 touchdowns. But I want to show love tonight to my guy.
I was wondering how long you were going to take to put him up here.
My guy, Debo Sanders, 5 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown. He added another 5 carries, 36 yards, and a touchdown. And I just want to say that he owns Aaron Donald, by the way, for a guy who said that he doesn't know who he is. So, Aaron Donald, I'm going to need you to sit down a little bit, brother. Please.
Yo, I think that we talked about the 49ers owning the Rams, but for the money they spent, they have to win the Super Bowl this year, and it ain't looked good a few of these weeks. So we're gonna have to see what they do. I did talk about Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, that's gonna be in the news. Well, since you mentioned that, no need to put it in the news. Le'Veon Bell got cut, and they say that they're gonna try to get him back in probably. But they had to make room for some health, some players that were returning from injuries and such.
Oh, okay.
So it's cool, but I mean, quite frankly, as far as fantasy football is concerned, Le'Veon Bell doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
he's
not even
he should not be on anybody's roster at all. But let me give love to another wide receiver, Jacoby Myers. Why? because after 135 receptions, he gets his first touchdown. He had, I think, it was last week or the week before, he broke the record for the guy with the most receptions and yards without scoring a touchdown. So he got his first NFL touchdown, not from the great Mac Jones, but in garbage time from Hoyer. I was like, it's a touchdown. It's a touchdown.
He got one. That's
so
all that
I'm glad
matters.
he finally got it. So if you have Jacoby Myers, you finally got a touchdown from him on your squad. But
definitely. So he got one. So that's all that matters. At this point, he got one. He got his first one. But we're gonna finish up this thing with some tight ends.
Travis Kelce.
But I do want to show love to Mark Andrews. He had 6 for 63 yards and a touchdown. And George Kittle's 5 for 50 yards and a touchdown. So those three had good games for tight ends. And I want to say your actual streak of saying it might be a couple tight ends with 1,000 yards might still be alive.
Maybe. I don't have getting those. My thing was that we'd have 4 tight ends with 1,000 yards this year, because it looked much like a guarantee with Kelce, because he always does his part. Kittle, the injuries become a problem, but he's always there for it. Waller has not been quite what I expected, but this guy that was I was depending on for my fourth one, TJ Hawkinson put up the goose egg. I'm like, what is happening in Detroit? They finally got a tie, so they didn't lose, but Hawkinson was just left out of the love.
Well, I mean, when your quarterback has less than 100 yards through 4 quarters, I mean, that says a lot of that he's not getting the ball. So, but I think the defense picked up on it, that they gonna triple team him, and
he's their only good player.
Only good player. I mean, other than DeAndre Swift, I mean, then you can definitely.
That's right. I mean, as far as the receiver.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Other than that, but they don't have anything. They don't have a number 1, a number 2, a number 3. So Hawkinson is your number 1 receiver, and they can double team him right off the line. So it makes it easy for them. So
it's been bad, but there's some hope. Kyle Pitts maybe can help me out a little bit. We'll see how well that goes.
I mean, you still got time. Season's not over yet.
There's 4 weeks in fantasy football. However, there's another 4 weeks after that as far as the NFL is concerned. So let's see what we can get. We got our first question from Justin. He wants to know if he gets the win. He has Tannehill, James Robinson, A.J. Dillon. We talked about should be balling out. Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, Kyle Pitts, Jaylen Waddle. The Browns defense and grade the leg. And then he's playing against Derek Carr if Kyler plays then. But if Kyler plays him, I don't know if I would switch. I might actually play Derek Carr even if Kyler Murray comes back. But that's just me. Austin Eckler, James Conner, Stephon Diggs, Scary Terry, the tight end from Minnesota, Conklin. Shepard, the Ravens defense, and Carlson. Oh, that's JJ was Justin Jefferson, not Julio Jones. My bad.
I think he gets the win. I think I like J-Rod. He was hurt, but he played last week and he did well. Dylan is definitely somebody that we talked about that. Tyreek came to play. Jefferson playing to play. I like his team. I think he should win. Conklin was more of a 1 week thing. I don't see that being more than that.
I would think it's more than a 1. He's been pretty consistent as far as the tight end because, I mean, he's no Travis Kelce obviously, but I think he Conklin, he's probably on the standard league. He's good for around double digits or very close to it. Plus or minus.
I mean, you still got to go through. I mean, and the thing he has, though, the thing that Justin has is Justin Jefferson is going to eat up a lot of his touches and Thielen. So,
well, I like Justin's team when I thought it was Julio Jones. I like it even more now that I know it's Justin Jefferson.
So I mean, I think he should win pretty easily. So I don't see where, unless some people just don't show up.
Well, here's the question: is Stephon Diggs going to have a game like he did last week against against the Colts? I don't think so.
Nah, the Colts defense is good, man.
Exactly.
They have a really good defense. So, I mean, some other guys are gonna have to step up to help them out, but I don't think so. Like Connor, for me, is not really. Connor ain't produced as much as he did the last, like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So I mean, but he being force fed more than anything for numbers.
His shifts going to be interesting about Connor when Kyler gets back, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's going to take away from Connor. Like I said, I think this one is hands down going.
Yeah, he should win this one. Yeah, but no problem.
Good question. Thank you for asking. New waiver wire. Do you have any waiver wire pickups for this week?
Yes. Yes.
You go on then.
Cam Newton. If Cam Newton is owned in 16% of Yahoo right now.
Right.
I think he's a good pickup, honestly. I think Cam Newton is a good pickup. I don't know if we're going to see Cam Newton from Carolina at first, like the first time around. But I think Cam Newton he back to prove something, man. I just think him going to New England and, you know, he getting cut and then, you know, he out to prove something now. I think he gonna play well. Because they said something about him. Yeah. Sam Donald actually being out the remainder of the year, and then they saying that Cam can actually fight for the starting job next year against Donald, which I think he'll beat out anyway.
I mean, based on what we saw from Sam Donald before he got injured. Yeah.
I mean, I would cut Donald next year if I was them because he's owed $18.9 million.
Right.
So I would cut him. I will find a way to cut him or kind of have him redo his contract. I would start Cam. It just depends on how he plays, but definitely Cam is somebody you can pick up. Ramondre Stevenson, we just talked about him. He's owned in 32% of the league. If you need a running back, he catches out the backfield, especially PPR leagues. He's good to have. And Dan Arnold, he's the tight end. He's been balling. He's owned in 26% of leagues right now in Yahoo. So if you, especially, I mean, it's probably around the same amount ESPN or Yahoo. So if you need a tight end and as a fill-in, because it's not that many great tight ends out there, obviously. But if you need somebody, he's one you can kind of get. So definitely.
Are you picking up? Are you picking up Wayne Gallman in anticipation of Cordero Patterson not playing tomorrow night? We know you're not picking up Mike Davis. I'm pretty sure.
I'm hesitant not to touch nobody from Atlanta. The way they played last week. I mean, geez. It's just terrible.
Yeah. I know he's been a hot pickup. He's rostered in like 20% of leagues, in some cases less than that. For me, I'm staying away from it altogether because that run game, Cordero Patterson's the best thing going, and that's because he's a wide receiver. So I'd stay away from it. But
I would.
I like your other picks.
I don't. For me, I don't see. I just think they played so bad last week. I just don't understand. And I don't know if it's the defense, the offense. I couldn't call it. It's just they played. Dallas just destroyed them last week. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even.
Well, Dallas had a lot to prove after their last loss. So
definitely.
They came focused. So.
Yeah.
Plus, their defensive coordinator used to coach the Falcons, so I'm pretty sure he had them kind of amped up to win that one. So
yeah, because he had to get his revenge. So I get it. I understand. Got a little bit of news. We already talked about Le'Veon. Joey Bosa, COVID-19 list.
Yeah.
Then you got Chase Young towards ACL. And I want to kind of stay on that just a tad bit, not long though.
Okay.
Question: ACL tears, is that because of the artificial grass that they bringing in? Because I know they went away from turf.
Yeah.
Like most teams have went away from turf. Is it the artificial grass they bringing in? And I think it's possible for them to grow actual real grass and bring it in. I don't understand how you can. there's got to be a reason to stop these ACL tests. Because for real, honestly, it was never like this in the 90s. If you watch football in the 90s, you didn't see a lot of guys tear the ACL like that. So it's got to be something with the field, like especially in like New York, their field is horrible.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys. So I don't know. Just a question for you.
I don't know if we can attribute it completely to the fields, but I have heard that as a possibility. Other things to consider: conditioning is different than what it used to be. We saw last year with the COVID outbreak, they didn't get a chance to train as much in the off season. That wasn't the case this year, but as a whole, the off season training is not what it used to be. One of the things the players want to do is they wanted to have more. I think they got rid of 2 days altogether. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
they wanted to do a lot of so they could rest their bodies. But and along with that, they're not in the same sign of condition way of conditioning as they used to be. So that's another thing that people say. But there's been a lot of ACL, MCL injuries going on. So it's been a hectic season. I see we have a question from Josh Flores on any chance that Dalvin Cook won't finish the season.
I think he will.
Yeah, I mean he's been slowing down, and he it's not like he also doesn't have a health injury problem, and so because he already missed some time this year. I'd say at this point in the way this season has been going, I would say any player out there is a potential miss for several weeks the way this thing has been going. So,
I mean, I don't see him missing. He's always hurt though, so it's not like it's something new with Dalvin Cook. He's always had an injury or two that kept him out of the game, a game here, a game there. But I don't really think he misses. I think he finishes the seasons, unless that whole court thing come
the
up.
domestic violence thing.
Yeah, but I don't.
Another thing.
Yeah, but I don't see him.
Seem like that's going to affect him. But I will say this, and not just because of the court issue, but just the way the season has been going. If Alexander Mattison, I've said many times I'm not a big fan of handcuffing, but for certain players, that might be a good strategy the way this season's going. Because, I mean, you name a top running back that hasn't been hurt at some point this year. It's a slim list.
Yeah, it is.
Very slim list.
I just don't. I don't know, man. I think the court case shouldn't hinder her because we don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
But according what's out there, they saying he didn't do anything wrong. But I mean, if something come out other than that he did do something wrong, then he might get suspended. But they might wait the next year when, like the whole thing with
for me the court case, if they haven't suspended Deshaun Watson yet,
exactly that's all I'm about to say.
I'm thinking that they're gonna wait for this thing to play out a lot more before they make any decision like that. So
yeah, I don't think they will.
The worst thing is though if they make a decision like right when the playoffs start. Then
that would be terrible for people.
Like, no, I mean fantasy football playoffs because that's before the season ends. So
yeah. But we want to clarify, it's 4 weeks left in the season.
Yeah.
But that's not including the fantasy playoffs. So we're not going anywhere until the fantasy playoffs are done. I just want to clarify that because I don't want nobody to think we're going in 4 more weeks. By the way.
No, 4 weeks of you getting your fantasy football squad together.
Yeah. So
we already talked about Le'Veon Bell getting cut.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones injury, I think we addressed. Did you see that the NFL is also trying to step up their COVID rules for the holidays?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're heightening the protocols around Thanksgiving weekend. And this is regardless of whether you've been vaccinated or not. Okay. This is like for area. And I think it's just because the fact that, one, it's a disease that gets spread through social interactions. And so with the holidays, you can have a lot more people over, so probably more than what people normally do. You're going to also just the fact that it's getting colder, so there's more people congregating inside. So basically they have they're going to have the indoor mask mandates going on. They're strongly urging people to provide testing for families and friends that are going to be around because I forget the number, but they actually had a pretty high amount of outbreaks from their last testing numbers. So they're trying to make sure they get through this season like they did last one. So
yeah,
we'll see where that goes. So after the Thanksgiving holiday, we'll see if we've had a few COVID situations in some of our leagues. So
yes, we have.
You got to keep your fingers crossed for the last 4 weeks of the regular season that your guys stay good. Speaking of which, Ben Roethlisberger, they're saying he might miss a second game.
Really?
A lot of these guys who miss games because of COVID came back the very next week, but he's been exhibiting symptoms, despite the fact that he's been vaccinated. And so he basically has to be symptom-free and then do 2 negative tests before he can come back. And so the question is whether he'll get those 2 tests in before their next game. So if Roethlisberger's on your roster, you might have some trouble. We'll
Definitely. So I do want to talk about one thing I've seen in the news that I forgot to write down. Yeah. I want to talk about your old coach trying to sue the NFL.
Why not bringing the Raiders in the news? They've been making news all season.
I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to say is it was 640,000 emails. They only pointed out 10,000 emails out of the whole 640,000 emails that pertain to him. And they tried to hide the Washington's emails so that wouldn't come out. And my thing is, doesn't he know he's going to lose? Like, he has no chance.
Roger Goodell set him up for the okie doke. That's basically what he's saying. So, to me, like, this whole thing is stupid. We'll see. This is America, so you got to sue because that's pretty much what happens.
You gotta
try to get as much money from this situation as he can because he is not coaching in the NFL anymore. You can guarantee it. Ain't nobody picking him up. ESPN ain't gonna bring him back in to be an anchorman, a commentator, or anything. So he's gonna be struggling for his next paycheck for a while. So yeah, I think this is just a desperation move that he's doing, but it's a stupid. Look, here's the thing: don't send stupid emails, and you don't get caught. There you go.
And the thing, he tried to make it seem like it was a one-time thing. It was a 7-year thing. Yeah. You have nothing that can make you get off of this. Not one bit. Like, all they got to do is present that information and say, you know what? We got you here. What can you come to say we did something to make you lose your job? Because I don't think Roger Goodell forced him out of his job. Now, I think he maybe, but I also think Roger Goodell may have hinted, say, hey, you know what? I think you might want to step away. I'm not going to say you need to leave, though, but you might want to think about leaving a little bit, though.
I won't say that he's wrong in thinking Roger Goodell forced him out, but at the same time, look at what you did. And so,
yeah, I mean,
that people have been fired for much less. Now, hey, Roger Goodell didn't push the button and say, Mark Davis, you have to fire him. But I think it was going to be a very bad situation if he didn't. So we'll see where that goes. But sour grapes is what I make of that whole story.
Well, do you think Mark Davis got something to do with him telling him to actually sue the league? Because Mark Davis,
because I don't know if you all know, but the Davis family in the NFL has not had the greatest of relationships. So
not even a little bit,
not even close.
Nope. So, and I think they're really close, and they're really good
considered,
friends.
John Gruden, he said like a son. I'm like, John Gruden's not that young either. So, but
he probably put it up to him. I'm pretty sure he put it up to him to try to sue the league. Honestly,
the Raiders suing the NFL. When has that ever happened? So,
I mean, yeah.
All right, we got another set of questions from Justin. You get to start one: Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs?
I'm going Josh Jacobs. I got to see what Saquon do right out. I got to give him a game.
Not only do I have to see what Saquon does, that's usually my rule, but the Giants are playing against the Bucks.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
And
good
they
luck
lost to
with that.
Washington.
Now, here's the thing. I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to have. Josh Jacobs has not been that workhorse guy like he was a few years ago. But he puts up solid numbers, and I'm fairly certain his numbers are going to be better than what you get from Saquon Barkley. Same situation though. Starting one, Kenny. Help me out, Kenny Galladay. Ty Johnson or Agnew. I actually picked up Ty Johnson in a couple of leagues because he's been managing. I mean, obviously Michael Carter's the dude, right?
Yeah,
but he's been involved with the passing game. I don't know how I feel about that with Joe Flacco, but I have picked up Ty Johnson. I think down the stretch he's going to be a nice little piece to have on your fantasy squad. So I like the fact that you have him. Do I start him this week?
I don't think he benefits from Flacco. I don't.
Right.
I just don't trust Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, that was going to be my next comment. I can't really trust.
Galladay always hurt. He get hurt just stepping on the field.
He could be healthy when the game starts and injured.
He get
first quarter.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin, do you have any other choice or somebody you can pick
off this
up?
list? I like Ty Johnson. I'm gonna roll with my chance of Ty Johnson on this one.
I mean,
unless I hold on, who else is hurt on? Because the Giants wide receivers are always hurt. So
I think Shepard is playing. Shepard is playing.
I think is playing.
Kadarius Toney is playing. I think most of them are back, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah, I think I'm gonna try my luck with Johnson.
Yeah, I like Ty Johnson out of all of this. I don't really see.
Like's probably not the right word, but I like more than the.
Is it anybody else possible to pick up?
Anyone at all? Yeah, because
I mean, that can possibly give you some points. I mean, that's a tough one there. I don't know about that one, but if you had to choose, Ty Johnson's probably the way to go, honestly. But I don't think nobody else would probably be good.
Clarifying, Justin, it's not for flex, and he has to start 3 wide receivers in a flex spot.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I'm trying to think if I'm looking at the schedule, but I don't like that either because I'm trying to give myself a reason to pick Agnew, and I can't do that one either because the Jaguars are playing against your guys, the 49ers.
And we on the high right now.
Yeah, I don't think I want any part of that either. I must say reluctantly Ty Johnson.
Yeah, I'm going Ty Johnson. At least Ty Johnson going to get – because they're going to be behind.
Yeah. The fact that he's in the passing game makes me feel – the only thing, again, with the Jets is Joe Flacco. So,
yeah.
Good luck with that. Good. Thanks for the question. I wish we had better answers. But, yeah, I would probably be looking on the waiver wire because I'm not starting any of those guys, any of those 3 unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah, because that's a tough one, honestly.
I hope the rest of your roster is really tight because,
Did you hear that Derrick Henry may come back by week 15? Yo, this dude is a machine, bro.
Yo, I've been officially banned from saying anything about Derrick Henry because my words potentially led to him getting hurt. However,
I don't think so. I mean, he's a machine. If he comes back by week 15,
how many weeks was it when Adrian Peterson came back from his ACL?
It won't long.
It was not long, but this is like literally in the same season. I see Joe Flacco things. Well, here's the thing about that comment, Justin. I don't think you need Joe Flacco for the Jets to lose.
Right? Yeah, that's I don't know about that one. Justin,
but I get your general point. Yes, Joe Flacco. When I saw that head, I was like, oh, as if things couldn't get worse for the Jets. Now they're gonna have to start Joe Flacco. So,
wow.
Yo, speaking of which, not so much Joe Flacco, but the fact that they're playing the Dolphins. Can we talk about the job that Dolphins defense did on Lamar Jackson?
They made him look regular.
He looked worse than regular.
They made him look regular. I'm just saying. So that's Lamar, Lamar, and you know what? I want to apologize because Lamar has actually looked good this year. He is
Yeah, Lamar's been
actually
nice.
he looked good. He throwing the ball. I think, and you said it. You said it earlier in the year before the season started. Bateman was going to be good. The receivers
I'm
was,
loving Bateman.
and it's working for him.
The only thing about Bateman is I didn't get him in enough leagues because I didn't want to go crazy with it. But yo, he's paying off, and I
I
think
got
that's
him in. I picked him up in a few leagues, and
yeah,
I run with him weekly now because
yeah,
he's doing about 15 a game, which is good,
yeah. I
honestly.
take that. Uh,
I take 15 points definitely. So
but
yeah,
here's the thing: the thing that they did for those that didn't watch that game, they blitzed like nonstop, relentlessly.
yeah.
Like they were sending them, some people was relating it to like playing Madden. It's like yo, all they did was blitz all
It's gonna
day.
it's gonna
Uh,
be worse this week for the Jets though.
but here's the question: are there other teams that can repeat doing it for the Jets? I mean, come on, it's the Jets. But
No
can
offense,
other
but
teams duplicate that against the Ravens? Because if he's that ineffective with that style of
yeah,
play, now everyone doesn't have a defense as good as the Dolphins do,
yeah,
but when it gets to the playoffs, and that's the thing that you need for the Ravens. I mean, we already know they're good, but it's about winning the Super Bowl
yeah, definitely.
against those
So
better teams in the playoffs.
see,
What
but
do you see happening?
it always come down to that in the playoffs when because the playoffs it get tight,
Yeah,
it get real tight, so they make you have to it's cold, you got to run the ball, so it seemed like it would suit the Ravens more than anything, but some teams make you like with the Ravens,
yeah.
they make you throw the ball. So anytime any team that's playing the Ravens, they're gonna make Lamar throw the ball 30 times, which is not a strong suit. That takes away from, and I honestly think they're missing the running back they got hurt this year, the top running back.
Yeah.
When he got hurt, I think that made it more. They don't have a running back. They went through what, four running backs so far, 4 or 5 that they picked up just off waiver
They
wire.
picked up all of the running backs. Like
Yeah,
every
so
veteran running back that exists, they picked up some at some point this season. So yeah.
I think that's part of the problem. In playoff time, it's gonna be even worse because Lamar gonna have to step up even more for something to happen. And the question is, can he do it? Which we all know he can, but if you make him throw the ball, then he's definitely gonna be that's a liability for them.
Well,
Personally,
throwing the ball doesn't seem to be a problem for him. It's that blitz and making
yeah,
the reads fast enough.
that's true.
And that's the part. It's a hey. Every year he comes back with a little extra. I don't think he's gonna have enough time this season to correct that problem against a team that can run that kind of blitz against them, like the Dolphins do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens because I guarantee you're going to see teams try to duplicate it. So he's going to get his practice with it. The Bears, if Khalil Mack is back,
Yeah,
can't remember, then they might have a shot at trying to, but they I don't know if they have the offense that's going to
well,
compete with them.
I'm gonna say this. I think Justin Fields might. He's been good the last
Yeah, he's
two
progressing.
weeks. He's progressed in the last 2 weeks. I think this game because honestly the Ravens defense. If you
That's
just looked
suspect.
at on paper and took the name off, and you say, you know what, this can't be the Ravens defense, but the Ravens are allowing 283 passing
Yeah,
yards per
that's
game
what I was
this
gonna say.
year.
Some of the big names to have on the defense are in that secondary, but yet and still they've been getting burnt. Like you said, take the names out. They've gotten burnt a lot.
A
So
whole lot. And the thing is, I think Justin Fields can do some work, man. I think, and I dare say that Justin Fields might have a real breakout game this week.
I hope so. But here's the question with that: both Darnell Mooney and not that Allen Robinson's been good, but
Yeah,
both of them are
exactly.
questionable this week. If they both play and they're healthy, then I'm with you. This could be an interesting
Yeah,
breakout game for them.
I
Let's
mean I'm passing yards too, so I can see him having a breakout game.
yeah. Let's hit some more questions about winning and losing. Justin has Kirk Cousins. I lost the question. There it is. Kirk Cousins, Alvin Kamara, Monty. We're talking about the Bears. David Montgomery coming back. Stephon Diggs again. Cooper Kupp, or is this Amari? Probably Amari Cooper. Rashad Bateman, who we just talked about. Kyle Pitts, Galladay, the defense of the Dolphins, and Carlson. He has AB, but he's hurt.
He's dead to you, so it's fine.
Complete. And so he's playing against Mahomes, getting his swagger back. Jonathan Taylor, Singletary, Mike Evans, Robbie Anderson, Hollywood Brown, Hawkinson. That's always a question mark. Devontae Smith, the Bucks defense, and Justin Tucker. And by the way, the Jets are losing by at least 10 points.
He has no faith in his team. I mean,
would you if you were a Jets fan? Come on, it's a Jets fan.
I mean, hold up, man. I went through 10 years of bad football with the 49ers, and I rooted for my team every week.
There's rooting, and then there's acknowledging that you're not going to win games. See, that's what you do for your 49ers. You pick them to win the most insane games, but didn't pick them in this week when they actually won. So I'm with you, Justin. Okay. I'm a Raiders fan. I root for my Raiders all the time, but I know when they're going to get beat, and I just accept it. That makes you a better fan because, look, I know you're going to lose, and I'm still going to root for you. Hey, what do you think about these teams?
I think outside of Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor, and Evans, and the Bucks D, he got it. Yeah. Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor, I don't like Singletary. Robbie Anderson ain't really did much. Hollywood is hit and miss. He's been playing well. Just last week he didn't play well. Yeah, Hawkinson had a dud last week. We
talked about that earlier. Hawkinson's killing me.
I think he got Diggs, Amari, Monty, Bateman, Galladay. Outside of Galladay, Miami defense is good. AK-41 is good. Kirk Cousins steady. We already know what you get from him. I like his team better. I think he should win, honestly.
I'm with you. He also says last week he was up 23 and had Debo. And he had Stafford, and he almost lost. He talks about that with Jay and the Lakers. And, we're not talking Lakers on this show.
We don't. We really.
Come on.
Lakers and LBJ, that is really not happening.
There's this guy who plays for the Lakers. I think his name is Antonio Davis, and if I quote him on this one, he says we suck
right now. Yeah. We just put it out there.
I'm saying he's on the team, so he should know.
I'm just saying he said y'all suck really bad right now.
So yeah, do what you want with that one.
He want to come on the show. I told him he can come on the show, but we're not talking about LeBron James. I'm just not. LeBron James, I'm going to tell you how bad it is, Justin. The movie Space Jam. Okay. I tell you this, I only watched that movie because I have a 7-year-old daughter who she likes LeBron James, and I tell her she can't speak LeBron James' names around me. Yeah. It can't happen, bro. We're not going to do LeBron James. He doesn't come up in my house. Period. We was at Walmart last week, and they had the Space Jam shirts up there, and they had LeBron James in the middle with the Looney Tunes. And my wife was like, "Well, hey, why don't we get one of these?" I was like, "No." She said, "Why?" I said, "Look at the shirt." She said, "Oh, that makes sense." See, it don't happen over here, bro. Sorry.
I would tell you this: LeBron James is one of the greatest players in NBA history. No doubt about that. It's crazy to deny it. However.
No,
we're not on.
We're not going there.
You got to get a different show to talk LeBron. You watched Space Jam twice. It was good. Okay.
No, you watched the original one first. It wasn't, bro. Come on. Right. No, it's crazy. So he's wild.
Unless you have other news stories, let's get back on the fact that there's only 4 weeks left in the NFL, in the fantasy football regular season. So, hey, you got a month left to go. what advice are you giving people on trying to keep if they're winning? Are there any tweaks?
I give out the same advice I would give anybody. This is the thing: if you're first or second, maybe even third in your league, and most times if you're third, you're kind of a game out from first. Because if your league is competitive, you're probably a game out. Stick to your guns. Don't make too many moves. I wouldn't try to make a lot of moves especially if you got. Man, you were just having this conversation earlier today when we was trying to make a trade, but you was like, I ain't got to make no trade. I'm number one. That goes down to what I'm saying. If you're number one and your team is winning you games, why make a change? Stand pat if you have to. I mean, if you can, but if somebody bring you something, only if you can put it in your lineup. If you can't put it in your lineup, there's no need to get that player. There's no need to get a player that you can put on the bench when you got somebody else that can already do that. So I say and then if you at 5 or 6 and you trying to make the playoffs and you trying to get that last seed, you might need to make a move to shake it up a little bit. Make a move. But between 1 and 3, I ain't really doing much. You know what I mean? Unless it's something that's going to change my lineup for the best. And I ain't doing it, honestly. So that's my advice to them. But it could be some good trades out there. Ain't that on the waiver wire right now, I'll tell you that, though.
The waivers are looking slim. We were looking over stuff with the greatest producer in the world, because her team is 2-8, I think, at this point.
How many games we played? I've only won 2 games.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, let's see if there's anything out there. No. And yeah, they are very, very slim pickings. There's a few players you might roll some dice with, but at this point, I always tell people, look, it is what it is. And so if you're 2-8, 3-7, or whatever at this point, you're probably not going to be in the playoffs. So your best bet right now, yeah. But for these last 4 weeks, you have one job, and your one job these last 4 weeks is to put your roster out there, see if you can make any lucky picks off the waiver wires, and try to upset somebody. Hey, if I'm going to be miserable in the offseason, and I have a team that's not going to be in the playoffs in one of my leagues, and so my whole goal is I am going to ruin somebody's season. They're going to need this one pick, this one win, and I'm not going to be the guy to give it to them. And so, yeah, do what you can. We got some more questions coming in. Is James Robinson playing this week?
I think he will.
I hope so. He didn't practice again. So, yeah. He
didn't practice much last week, though. Yeah. So, I think probably is a routine. You'll know by Saturday. Actually, by Friday after the reports come out. So
I will wait for that report and cross your fingers.
Yeah.
But again, they're playing against the 49ers. So I wouldn't have really big expectations for him, even if he does play.
Now, would you consider him somebody that you just play regardless? Regardless of matchup?
There are certain players that I always say, I motto, play your studs. I don't think James Robinson's really a stud at this point. He was last year for certain, and he's been good this year once Urban Meyer figured out that running the ball is important to do. But at this point, especially since he's come off that injury, I would say not if I had better options.
Okay.
But sense. There's a very good chance you don't have better options, in which case, then yes, I would play James Robinson regardless.
Okay.
But yeah. And he just also wants you to know that he did watch the original Space Jam with the greatest basketball player that the universe has ever known, Michael Jordan. I think those were his words.
Yeah, 6-0. So that's all I want to say. 6-0.
Yeah. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, same kind of thing.
That's a touchy.
There's a chance that he might be resting this week.
I don't play him because even if he does play, he's coming off of IR, and you know how we feel about that. You got to at least see what he can do first in that 1 week coming back, and then obviously you might miss out on something, but you take that risk of not playing him, or you take that risk of playing him where he can re-injure it or come back and not do anything, be on the pitch count. So you don't want to take that risk. Now, if it's a quarterback or something like that that's coming off IR, then you plug them in, obviously. But like for a running back, they probably got him on the pitch count. So I don't know.
Do you like Jaylen Waddle this week?
Love Jaylen Waddle.
I love Jaylen Waddle every week.
Yes.
So, even if he doesn't get it done for me, I love him and I'm gonna give him a shot at it. So yeah, I play Waddle. The Dolphins, they're playing against the Jets. Oh, they're playing against your Jets. We talked about that before. Yeah, I love Waddle every week.
Yeah, with Tua back, definitely with Tua back. Yeah, because Tua looks for him a lot.
Congratulations, so Justin. He's not 3-7 in any of his leagues, so he said he's really good at fantasy football.
He actually has some good teams. He showed me some of his teams. His team is really good.
Oh, by the way, if you go off rings, Bill Russell has more than Michael Jordan. So
I mean, really,
I'm just saying.
If you look at the '90s basketball was way better than now. Really, just go watch highlights of the '90s Knicks. I mean, the '90s Bulls, the Indiana Pacers. We can go on for days here. By the way, so we just don't know fantasy football. Just putting it out.
Also coming, he could start. I think. This Daryl Williams maybe for the Chiefs or James Robinson. He says he thinks, James Robinson normally stud. He says the top 10 or 15 running back. I agree with that. Based on what we saw last year, it's just James Robinson on injury makes him to me a little less studly. But hey.
If you got him as a second running back, as a RB2, and your RB1 is really good, you're in good hands. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with something like that. So, I like Robinson. I got Robinson.
I love Robinson.
I'm playing him this week because obviously I ain't got no choice because a lot of my other running backs are, we got more slots in our leagues. So, we got to play guys. So, but yeah, I mean.
I don't know. I think this is Daryl Williams that you're referring to. I think I start him over James Robinson this week because I think he's going to have that. We talked about the Kansas City Chiefs Dallas game. That's going to be phenomenal.
That game is. I'm telling you, if you got anybody from Kansas City, anybody from Dallas, I'm talking about down to the kicker.
Yeah.
Like
now,
those guys.
If Clyde Edwards-Helaire does not play, if they are resting him, Daryl Williams is going to get that work. So
definitely. Oh yeah, because it's going to be a barn burner. They're going to be scoring and. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, by the way, apparently you nailed the Devontae Smith pick, and DJ Moore ain't doing so good, and Julio can possibly come back.
Yeah, we talked about, he asked me did Devontae Smith to play him. I told him to get DJ Moore, but I think DJ Moore is going to be all right with Cam coming back. I think that line, him and Robbie Anderson may pick it up a little bit now.
They can't be worse than what they were.
Can't be worse than what they were. So I think but Julio possibly coming back, but Julio ain't had a good year all year. But he can. I thought he would do more with Henry going down. Yeah. Honestly, I thought that would open him up. Actually, he did. He had 100 yards to the next game after Henry got hurt. But at the end of the day, he got to stay healthy, and that's part of his problem.
That's the thing. Oh, he also mentions the new one. And I don't know what's happening with him. He had that one good game, and he did get a couple of carries against the Raiders. Yeah. I thought they called his name a bit, but Daryl Williams was just on fire. What did he have, like 140 something all-purpose yards? He was just a monster. That's why, like, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire does not play, then I'm putting in Williams before James Robinson.
Definitely.
And I'm not even thinking twice about that one. And then we're going to talk basketball. The 80s were better than now. The 80s were exciting times in basketball. If you had that Showtime Lakers against the Celtics, then throwing some Pistons going towards the end of that, the 80s were crazy.
See, but what people forget, the 90s were tough. The 90s were brutal. The 90s was a brutal 10 years. But what people don't remember is they took a rule out called the hand checking rule, which hand checking is something where you can literally grab a person on their back with your bare hands and guide them anywhere you wanted them to go. They took that out of basketball in 2000. So basically, now you can't even touch a player unless they're 4 feet from the basket. And if you get anywhere close to them, they're going to call a foul. So with hand checking and the way they call flagrant fouls now for just coughing on somebody, not happening. You need to go back and watch how people got clotheslined back in the day.
Watch the Bad Boy Pistons.
Bad Boy Pistons in the 90s, like they got clotheslined. Where do you think the Jordan rules came from? The Pistons made the Jordan rules just to stop him. Come on now. I mean, this is kind of crazy. Come on. 90s is way better.
90s are good. And that comment was more so saying the 80s are better than basketball now. I think was the intent of that. Justin says, of course, the 90s were better. Now it's about the three-point era, and you got like teams, the Golden State. Here's the thing about Golden State, and I don't like. I root for Golden State. 2 oughts with them. One, they broke my 72-10 record, and then lost the doggone championship. How do you have the best record over the season, break history as the most winning team ever, and lose the championship game? That's it.
Well, it's different now. Back in the day, you could run a zone, and you could stand. Literally, a center could sit in the center. He could sit under the basket all day long without calling 3 seconds. They invented the 3-second rule probably early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And when they invented the 3-second rules, you had to stay in for 3 seconds and come out and go back down there. Before that, Patrick Ewing, Mutombo, Lonzo Mourning, those guys just literally stood. Go look at the Knicks teams from the 90s. Those guys literally, Anthony Mason, Patrick Ewing, those guys literally, Kirk Thomas stood in that paint and never moved. So if you tried to come down there, you was going to get killed regardless. And they would just clamp down on you. That's why a lot of the guys that play nowadays couldn't last back then because of rules like that. Hand checking, 3-second rules won't call, none of that stuff.
Here's your thing. Look at James Harden and how how his play has changed, and they made a very simple rule to keep him from going to the line all the time.
Exactly.
It's a different NFL. I'm gonna go to this other basketball since we're talking basketball for now.
I don't know how we.
Greek the Freak dropping 47 on the Lakers. Greek the Freak, he is amazing. But have we compared Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's numbers to Michael Jordan? By the numbers, Kareem is the GOAT, and y'all can ban me. I'm not gonna ban you on that one.
I'm not banning you
because I tell people all the time. Now, when I was younger, less gray, more hair on the top, it was Michael Jordan all day long. As I've gotten older and appreciate it, sometimes I tell people all the time, when you talk about the greatest of all times, you gotta put Kareem in that discussion, because Kareem, he was a beast from college to the NBA. There's a lot of guys you can put in that greatest of all time category, and the fun part about it, I guess, for sports people is you can't really say who wins, right? Because for me, it's going to always be Michael Jordan just because that's who I grew up watching. But Kareem, if you tell me it's Kareem, I'm not even going to be mad at you. I'm going to be like, maybe so. I might even I take Kobe as a good answer. I take Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. I would not accept LeBron James, Justin. I'm sorry. And Nita, I know she's team LeBron, but I'm just kidding, somewhat. LeBron. I mean, honestly, look, here's the thing about LeBron. He came out of high school on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and he has lived up to the hype more than maybe anyone who's ever been hyped, ever. So there's no denying his greatness. But Michael Jordan's better. We all know that.
I mean, the only thing, this is my thing. LeBron, I won't take anything from LeBron. But if you're telling me that you'd rather have somebody that been to the championship game and lost 6 times than the guy that been there 6 times and won 6 times. Like, do you understand that Michael Jordan has never went to a game 7? I tried to explain this to Justin the other day. Michael Jordan has never went to a game 7, period. Michael Jordan has stopped Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley. I mean, the list go. Karl Malone, John Stockton,
Right.
Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. He has stopped so many people from getting rings, and I can name a list of guys that have won rings on LeBron. Durant, Steph. I mean, Steph won 3 on him. Let's just be real now. Durant won 2 on him. He won MVPs against him. So if you want to keep it strictly basketball, we can, and we can go there because the stats will back up the fact that LeBron is 4-6 in the finals. No matter what you say and come around and say, he's 4-6. It is what it is.
Hey,
4-6.
you are what your record said you are.
Thank
Now,
you.
I will say it's admirable getting to that many, but sorry. Look, like I said, I'm a little bit of a hater.
I need to answer this. Jay. Come on now. You talking about lost in the first round? Can we talk about the Eastern Conference that LeBron James played in? Seriously, are we really talking about first round? We talking about
the ones when he got swept.
Yeah, we talking about the bad boy Pistons of the first rounds he lost to. When he hit 69 against Larry Bird and all those Hall of Famers. You cannot be serious right now. When you talk about lost the first round, KD and Kerry was a super team. LeBron played on 3 super teams, bro. Yeah, 3 of them. Don't come with super teams, man.
If you got to talk super teams, get out of here.
He played on 3 of them.
We also have a comment. By the way, there was a question about a kicker. But before we talk about Greg the Leg and kickers, we don't talk kickers. We also have a comment. Welcome, Mike. Oh, sorry. We have someone who loves kickers. What I said. Comment. Welcome, Angelo Sykes to the show. He says that Mike had more talent and better coaching than LeBron. Hey, didn't LeBron run off a couple of coaches? But that's all right. No one has ever done what LeBron has. Depending on what you're talking about.
Hold on.
Like I said,
Did she say Mike didn't do it? Okay, can you name?
No one does it alone.
No one does it alone.
MJ doesn't do it alone. LBJ doesn't do it alone. But yeah.
Can you name how many Hall of Famers Michael Jordan got right now, aside from him that's in the Hall of Fame? And I can name them for you. Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. Yeah. That's it.
Oh yeah, that.
Only 2 Hall of Famers. Can we name all the Hall of Famers that LeBron had played with? Dwayne Wade, AD is definitely gonna go in the Hall of Fame. Can we go? Bosh is in there right now. That's 3. He played with Shaq. I can keep going now.
And
he has played with a bunch of Hall of Famers.
How many Hall of Famers are on that Lakers team now? That's terrible.
Thank you.
Future Hall of Famers on that team. Look,
I mean, come on now. Y'all have to stop this. You're killing me right now. We can talk basketball. This is a fantasy football show, but we all love sports. But let's just keep it real now. Mike didn't do it alone, but Pippen was there. Yes, Pippen. But let's be real. Pippen only averaged 18 points a game. 18, 7, and 7. Jordan averaged 32 points a game for a career. 32. The man won 6 MVPs. We all know there's no loyalty in it. It is some loyalty. His name is Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard has never left Portland and won't leave Portland. Y'all trying to get him though, because y'all trying to build an all-star team. Come on, Justin. You're not gonna win this argument with me. I tried to tell you this the other day. I know just as much about basketball as I know football. You can't do it with me.
We're talking about the Pistons beating the Bulls. Yeah, because the Pistons are one of the best teams ever, but they got over the hump. Look. And let me be 100% clear on this. I'm not a LeBron James hater. I'm pretty sure on the show earlier, rewind the tape, you'll see me saying LeBron is one of the greatest players the NBA has ever seen. He lived up to the hype better than maybe anybody's ever lived up to any hype. So I love me some LeBron James stats, but the LeBron James guy, I think I go a tad bit too far acting like, oh wow, the NBA's never seen this before. Really?
I mean, like seriously, can we talk about the guy that
never seen this before? Come on.
Can we talk about the fact that he got swept Not once, but twice. And the thing is, the first sweep against San Antonio, I don't even put that on him because they didn't have a good team. So if you want to keep that out of it, that's fine. But for the record book, he got swept twice and he lost 4-1 to Golden State. So Jordan has never went to a game 7.
Yeah.
Stop. It's not even close. And just because he got more points than everybody, that happens when you play 20 years. I'm just saying.
MJ couldn't have taken the Cleveland to that many finals. With this is what gets me. People always want to belittle everything that LeBron James had.
Come on, man.
Now, I'm not saying that Cleveland team was full of stars everywhere, but you don't make it to the finals with no talent on your team.
Look, Jordan went to the finals with guys named Judd Butler, Bill Winnington, oh gosh,
we had Stacey King on some of those teams.
Tony Kukoc, who else? Oh my gosh, I'm missing a few people.
Yeah.
Can you really seriously name?
I going back to that particular Cleveland team that was pretty bad. I think that more so speaks to the talent in the NBA at the time.
Thank you.
The fact that he was that ragtag group of guys. Hey, remember that team that Allen Iverson took to the finals?
Yes.
So, and the reason why was because a lack of talent. Once again, we started with the 90s. Look at some of those 90s teams that were out there, and the fact that the Bulls was able to put up the record they did against them. I mean, come on. Be real. Also, we talked about Bill Russell. We're going by that. Yeah, Bill Russell also belongs in that group. If you're talking all-time greats, Bill Russell.
Yeah, we giving it to Bill Russell, but for y'all to sit here and tell me, and he said at least he made it to the finals 10 times, he's gonna get a fifth. Who said he's gonna get a fifth ring this year?
Stephen A. Smith says no. He said he's got it. Now, look, the fact that you made 10, much like I say going back to football, because, we do that, the Bills team that went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, people were doggone them. I'm like, they made it to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. That's amazing. So, it's no doubt. The fact that LeBron has been in the finals 10 years, wonderful. Ring a bell for him.
He said ring a bell.
But at the same time, losing record does go into play there. Also, when you get a chance, go to let's go back to a matchup question, Justin. Yeah, while we're talking, let me scroll back up and find it in the comments. I think did we do this one, Justin? I hope I can find your question. All right, I think this is it. Is it the one? Tell me if I'm wrong on this. You have Mahomes, Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor, Corey Davis, Devontae Smith, T.J. Hockenson, Gallup Foreman, Justin Herbert playing against Derek Carr, Zeke, Daryl Williams, Scary Terry, I think that is, Adam Thielen, Dalton Schultz, Christian Kirk, James Robinson, Mason Rudolph. And did we ever say whether we would start Greg the Leg?
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a kicker.
He's a kicker.
We change our kickers every week.
My secret is I don't give a rip who my kicker is.
I really don't care. You go by the matchup, I guess.
I go by who here's how I pick. Here's how you pick a kicker. You scroll through, you find out who's been doing well, you pick them up, and then you switch out when it doesn't work for you. But there's a couple of kickers I actually do like. In Atlanta, I like. Well, cool. He hasn't been as good this year. Cool. Great. Another guy, Rodrigo Blankenship, before he got hurt, is another kicker I do like, and I had him in quite a few teams. Justin Tucker works for Royal Farms also, advertising their chicken. If you live in Baltimore, you know what's up. So they're kickers I like, but on a general basis, I don't even know who my kickers are. I think I have the kicker for the Vikings, and he's been really good this year.
I normally pick kickers if they playing Sunday night, Monday night, try to get some late points. Honestly, that's my thing. So
yeah, I like your team.
I think he should win it though. His team should win it.
Yeah, okay. I did get the right question.
Yeah.
You got facts. Others got facts. So yeah, here's again going back to the team. That Bills team was super talented. Well, yes, of course they were. My point being that I respect LeBron James despite the fact that he has been to 10 championships and lost because he was talented. And I wasn't comparing that Bills team to that Cleveland teams. But if we're going to talk about talent, LeBron has been on some very, very talented teams because, he moves around and makes them super teams by picking
quite
up
frequently.
So, yeah.
I mean, if you really want to.
By the way, before you go, I don't think LeBron's getting a ring this year because that team is a dumpster fire. And not just because LeBron is hurt. That team has no chemistry. Unless they're going to really turn this thing around, that team is a dumpster fire.
That's what it's called.
I wouldn't even just put it all on him. He's a part of it. He's a part of the dumpster fire. But that team is a dumpster fire. And it's much like the other Los Angeles team that just brought in a whole bunch of people. They might find out that you can't buy a championship. I think the Lakers tried this about a good, sadly, almost 20 years ago. and
with somebody named Karl Malone and Gary Payton.
Yeah, all those guys.
Shaq and Kobe. They tried it a while ago. Yeah. But I want to end the conversation on this. Since everybody's saying he went to the finals. I just want to know what happened against Dallas. Yeah. I mean, you let a guy go get a tattoo on his shoulder of the NBA trophy, and you let JJ Barea outdo you, a 5'8" guard.
Yeah,
I'm going to leave it at that. I'm done.
So, and my summary is, hey, if you love LeBron James, that's cool. I'm not mad at you. You can say he's the greatest in your book. But we all know, as Justin does, that Dan Carlson is the greatest of all times. Kicker for the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course he is. Anybody on the Raiders can be the greatest of all time. Let's see what is it next year draft. Who's going 1-0? Who's your overall pick next year? Especially for not Justin, because none of his teams are losing, but for other people watching that have teams that they're already looking forward to next year. Who's your very much too early number 1 overall pick?
It depends on the league. It depends on the structure of the league. If it's a quarterback league, for me, it's a tough one.
For me, number 1 quarterback will always be Patrick Mahomes until otherwise proven. So he's my one. If I'm going a league where quarterbacks go first,
I mean, it's for me is a toss up between if Brady come back next year, it's him and Brady for me, because Brady has proven again at his age that he still can be a fantasy number 1 quarterback. So for me, it's Brady. As far as
what about
running back
backs?
league, it's Jonathan Taylor.
I was gonna say I'm not 100% committed to it, but I was gonna say I think Jonathan Taylor might be my number 1 guy for next year. Taylor. So, oh no, we're thinking alike. It gets scary.
It's not a good thing.
Here's another question: Schultz or Commit for your tight end?
I like Schultz. I like the matchup. I
like that matchup for Schultz too.
You got to adapt. Like if you don't have the top 3 or 4 tight ends that you can plug in, like just play every week, but you got to plug in tight ends like that. Schultz, that matchup is great. Somebody got to.
Here's my one contrarian thought. I mentioned earlier there's some injury problems up in Chicago. And if Robinson and Darnell Mooney, and really more so if Darnell Mooney is not playing, Commit might jump up a little bit on my ranking. And then I might pick him over Schultz. But not likely. I don't think they both missed the game. We'll see.
Nah.
Just says Najee might not be a bad pick, number 1 overall, especially since apparently the Steelers are learning how to run the ball now. And so
I love Najee, but I'm just telling you, something about Jonathan Taylor
is just a monster.
That offensive line is crazy.
It's also going to be interesting to see what happens next year with the Steelers, because I can't imagine Roethlisberger is going to be the quarterback there next year. And so that might change your opinion on that a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll see how that
they
goes.
might go back to a passing team.
Yeah.
So. We'll see though.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Justin thinks A-Rob and Mooney are playing. I'm thinking that's gonna lead that way, but we'll have to check the news.
I think Rob is playing. I think A-Rob playing, but I just don't.
Yeah, I'm more so concerned about Mooney because right now for me, A-Rob is bench material if you're still on your team.
Mooney got more like 44 to 35 targets or receptions this year. So Mooney's really, if you're going based off of numbers, Mooney's the number one receiver there right now. Yeah. So
by far,
yeah. But that's all we got, man.
I think we hit all the questions. If not, oops, my bad. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Comment on the YouTube page. Hit like, hit subscribe. What you got?
That's all I got, man. We ain't going nowhere. We trying to get the numbers up. And again, we can talk basketball, but this is a fantasy football show. But but we enjoyed the questions about basketball. Stressing. Just having a little fun. I kind of provoked it.
I wore the jersey for a reason, so I wanted some basketball talk today. So hey, we can always switch it up.
We can switch it up.
The show is whatever y'all want to make it about.
Exactly. So we definitely can go there. I mean, because we don't take notes on basketball. This is all top of the head stuff. Yeah. So definitely. But you know how to find us. We do, like I say, me and Justin talk quite frequently on Instagram. I'm not Instagram, but Twitter. He asks me questions and and things of that nature. So definitely hit me up if y'all have anything. Hit Jay up. We definitely. We getting there, man. So just we working. So we appreciate y'all, really.
All right. Check us out. We'll be giving out all the games on this Saturday for the 40-second play clock. And keep watching those Bulls because they gonna do some damage this year. Y'all better be ready for it.
Not them Lakers though.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
All right.